These signs promoting the Manitoba Métis Federation in the Ottawa Macdonald-Cartier International Airport were removed by their airport authority soon after receiving a complaint that it was both political and offensive.
For somebody to come along now and say that the Reverend Métis sign, the Reverend government is offensive, that's a sad, sad day in this new era.
It was the only complaint the signs had received in the 13 months it was displayed. They were promptly removed with no consultation with the MMF. The complainant was Chief Dylan Whiteduck of Kitigan-Zibi and Anishinaabe, a First Nation 2 hours away from the airport. He sent out a joint press release with Chief Greg Sarrazin of Algonquins of Pickawakanagan, a First Nation also near the airport. They state in part that the sign had the potential to create confusion regarding the territory's ownership, and that they intend to replace it with their own sign, welcoming airport goers to the unceded Algonquin territory. Manitoba Métis Federation President David Chartrand says the signs made no claim to land and are to educate people about the Red River Métis.
I think for them to use this now as a claim that we're trying to intrude into their land is clearly wrong. It's really grasping at straws.
The MMF has similar signs in the Winnipeg-Richardson International Airport and billboards throughout Manitoba. Chartrand hasn't heard directly from Chiefs Whiteduck or Sarrazin, but wonders if they have the MMF confused as a supporter of the proposed Bill C-53. If passed, the bill will allow self-government to the Métis Nation of Ontario, something several First Nations in Ontario are against.
So maybe they got us mixed up with the Ontario Métis. Maybe that's something where Whiteduck made a big mistake, thinking we're Ontario or supporters for Ontario. We're not supporting Ontario. We're actually supporting the First Nations of Ontario against the Métis Nation of Ontario, or having a false claim of their identity, bringing this so-called new historical Métis, which do not exist in our books, and they're not related in any fashion to our people of the West.
We've reached out to Chiefs Whiteduck and Sarrazin multiple times for an interview, but have not heard back. Chartrand says he isn't upset with who made the complaint, but that the signs were taken down without consultation during a 2-year contract with Astral Media.
It could have been Whiteduck, it could have been a non-Indigenous person, it could have been anybody that made a complaint, and yet the board just made a decision, okay, I agree with you, it's offensive.
When asked why they removed the signs so quickly after only one complaint, and how the signs were deemed offensive and political, the Ottawa International Airport Authority said, based on discussions with the complainant, as a chief of his community and his stated views on how his people were offended and perceived it as political, we believe this met the criteria outlined in our advertising standards. Chartrand says he is sending a letter to the chairman of the board concerning the removal and will use legal means to address the issue if necessary. When asked if the MMF will put their signage only within the Métis homeland going forward, President Chartrand shook his head.
No, of course not. I'm going to put signs, and if I was to say now that I got to get permission from everybody in the world to promote who I am, then there'd be a hell of a problem in this country for freedom of speech.
Sav Jonesa, APTN National News, Winnipeg.